Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Zara Putri Aliman. I am majoring English Literature. Today, I would like to present my advanced grammar project about the tense aspect system and progressive aspect in English. In this presentation, I will explain the definitions, grammatical patterns, functions, examples, and also some error analysis related to tense and aspect in English grammar. The first topic is the tense aspect system in English. Tense and aspect are important parts of grammar because they help us understand the time and the condition of an action. Tense shows when an action happens, whether in the past, present, or future. Meanwhile, aspect explains how the action happens. For example, whether it is completed, ongoing, or repeated. There are four main types. The first one is simple, the second one is progressive or continuous, the third one is perfect, and the last one is perfect progressive. The function of the tense aspect system is to describe action clearly, show duration or completion, and explain events in sequence. This slide shows the grammatical patterns used in the tense aspect system. Each tense has its own formula and structure. Understanding these patterns help us create correct sentence in English. For example, simple present uses subject plus verb 1. Present progressive uses subject plus am, is, or are plus verb in. Present perfect uses subject plus has or have plus verb 3. Past perfect progressive uses subject plus had been plus verb in. Here are four example sentences. The first one is I study English every night. He is watching a movie right now. They have completed the project. We had been traveling before the storm started. These examples represent different tense and aspect forms in English. The first sentence, I study English every night, uses the simple present tense. Its function is to describe a habit or routine. The pattern is subject plus verb 1. The second sentence, he is watching a movie right now, uses the present progressive tense. It describes an action happening at the moment of speaking. The pattern is subject plus am, is, or are plus verb in. The third sentence, they have completed the project, uses the present perfect tense. This tense describes a completed action that still has a result in the present. The fourth sentence, we had been traveling before the storm started, uses the past perfect, progressive tenses. It explains an ongoing action that happened before another event in the past. This slide shows examples from media and news articles. The first sentence is, the government has announced a new policy. This sentence uses the present perfect tense because it describes a recently completed action. The second sentence is, many people are using social media for education. This sentence uses the present progressive tense because it describes an ongoing trend happening now. In this sentence, has announced, the present perfect tense shows a recent completed action with a present perfect. In the sentence are using, the progressive form shows an activity or trend that is still continuing. These examples show how tense and aspect are commonly used in real-life communication. According to studies from the British National Corpus, the simple present tense is one of the most frequently used forms in a daily communication. Progressive forms are also common in spoken English because they help speakers describe ongoing activities and temporary situations more naturally. Part 2. Progressive aspect in English. The next topic is the progressive aspect in English. The progressive aspect describes actions happening now, temporary situations, and ongoing activities. The main formula is be plus verb in. For example, am studying, is running, we're talking. The progressive aspect has several functions. The first one is showing ongoing actions. The second one is describing temporary activities. The third one expressing changing situations. And the last one is showing future arrangements. For example, I am meeting my lecturer tomorrow. Although it talks about the future, the sentence uses the present progressive tense to describe a planned arrangement. Here are some examples of progressive aspect. First one, I'm doing my assignment now. They were discussing the problem yesterday. She will be traveling next week. We have been learning grammar for 2 hours. These examples represent different progressive forms in English grammar. The sentences I am doing my assignment now uses the present progressive tense to show an action happening at this moment. The sentence they were discussing the problem yesterday uses the past progressive tense to describe an ongoing activity in the past. The sentences she will be traveling next week uses the future progressive tense because it describes ongoing activity in the future. The sentence we have been learning grammar for 2 hours uses the present perfect progressive tense to show an action that started in the past and continues until now. The media example says, scientists are studying climate change effects. The phrase are studying uses the present progressive tense because the activity is still in progress. This example shows how the progressive aspect is used in news and scientific discussions. Research from Cambridge Grammar shows that the progressive aspect is very common in spoken English. People often use it to describe temporary activities and situations that are changing over time. This section contains incorrect sentences related to the tense aspect system. The purpose of this activity is to identify grammatical errors and correct them based on the proper tense and aspect rules. Part 1 is the tense aspect system. He said becomes he said. The sentence talks about a past event, so the verb must be in the past form. Tense is show becomes tense shows. After a singular subject, the verb should use shows, not is show. Aspect is describing becomes aspect describes. General facts should use the simple present tense. Happen becomes happens. The singular subject action requires the verb happens. Rina have read becomes Rina had read. Past perfect is needed to show an action completed before another past action. She come becomes she came. The sentence is in the past tense, so the verb should be came. Lecturer was taught becomes lecturer was talking. After was or were, the verb must use the ing form. Students are asking becomes students were asking. The sentence describes a past activity, so past continue is required. Lecturer has give becomes lecturer had given. Perfect tense uses the past participle form given. Rina feel becomes Rina felt. The event happened in the past, so the verb should be in the past form. These corrections are important because the paragraph discusses past events, so the tense must remain consistent. Part 2. Progressive aspect is explaining becomes was explaining. The paragraph uses past time markers, so past continuous is needed. Say becomes said. The sentence describes a past action. Are happening becomes were happening. Past continuous should be used for consistency. Is listening becomes was listening. The activity happened in the past. Was talking becomes were talking. The plural subject friends requires were. Are not playing becomes were not playing. Past continuous is needed for past actions in progress. Say becomes said. The sentence refers to a past statement. Is not understanding becomes did not understand. Simple past is more appropriate for completed past situations. Was given becomes was giving. After was, the verb should be used the ing form. Is trying becomes was trying. The paragraph consistently uses past tense. These corrections are important because the paragraph discusses past events, so the tense must remain consistent. Perfect aspect. Is studying becomes was studying. The sentence refers to an activity in the past. Has finished becomes had finished. Past perfect uses had plus past participle. She go becomes she went. Past tense requires the verb when. Feel confused becomes felt confused. The sentence describes a past feeling. Has explained becomes had explained it. Past perfect is needed for an earlier completed action. Did not understood becomes did not understand. After did not, the verb must be in past form. She have saw becomes she had seen. Past perfect uses had plus verb 3. Seen. Know becomes knew. The sentence refers to a past condition. Has made becomes had made. Past perfect requires the past participle made. Has not fully understand becomes had not fully understood. Past perfect negative forms need had plus verb 3. These corrections show the proper use of perfect forms and past participle. The last part is perfect progressive aspect. Budi have been studying. Budi has been studying. Present perfect progressive uses has been plus verb in. Lecturer have been explained becomes lecturer has been explaining. Singular subjects require has and the verb should be in ing form. Do not understand becomes does not understand. Singular subject Budi requires does. Have to complete becomes has had to complete. Present perfect form is needed for an ongoing situation. Has been worked becomes has been working. Perfect progressive requires the ing form. Cannot solve becomes cannot solve. After modal verbs, the best form should be used. Was giving becomes has been giving. Present perfect progressive matches the time expression this week. Has been encouraging becomes has been encouraging. This form is already correct because it follows the perfect progressive structure. Are improving becomes have been improving. Present perfect progressive shows in continuous improvement over time. All day becomes all day long. All day long sounds more natural in this context. This correction improved both grammar accuracy and sentence structure. That's all from my presentation. Thank you for listening. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.